Good morning to you folks. Welcome into our 10 a.m. community show, our FFA week celebration here on C103 and Good Guys Radio TV, presented by CMT Components and our presenting sponsor this week for FFA week, Armstrong Crop Insurance. Big thank you to them, as well as our other sponsors, Adams Brown and Highland County Farm Bureaus, Baxla Tractor Sales, Buckeye Valley Beef Cooperative, and Georgetown Marble and Granite. Joining us this morning, we will have our FFA chapters from Fayetteville and Georgetown. Starting us off is Fayetteville. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Everyone was pretty in sync. We'll give you probably a B+. We could maybe go a little more in sync next time, but we did good to start. Let's talk a little about the FFA chapter. Gracie, since you are the closest to me, let's hear from you first, a little introduction, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, my name is Gracie Grant, and I am currently the secretary for the Fayetteville FFA chapter.
Fantastic. So secretary within an FFA chapter does, I'm assuming, what secretary does in a lot of different organizations. It's your job to take all the notes and make sure everybody knows what happened and what's going to happen and keep everybody on the same page, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty simple. Now, within that, how does one become a chapter officer at Fayetteville? How do you guys go about that?
Well, we send out an application that you have to fill out, and there's a few different processes that you have to go through, such as an interview, you take a test, and then you'll turn in your application, everything kind of gets graded, and through that is kind of a selection process where we figure out what position you do.
Interesting. So they test you to know if you would make a good secretary.
Mm-hmm.
That is interesting. All right. Talk to us a little about what grade you're in at high school.
I'm a senior currently.
You're a senior. Well, congratulations. Big year. So at this point, how many years of FFA have you gone through?
4.
4 years. Okay. So take us through freshman year to now. You feel like you've grown a lot, you've learned a lot in that time span?
Yes,
Yeah?
a lot.
Okay. Big thing going into that freshman year. What was, I don't know, the most nerve-wracking or the most daunting thing about joining the FFA?
I think when you go in freshman year, it is a little bit, makes you a little nervous because there's so many different activities that we do throughout the year. And you just kind of get thrown into things. But after you start and you do 1 or 2 different activities, you really just get thrown into it, and it just becomes a lot easier.
And Nathan doesn't take it easy on you, I have to guess.
Mm-hmm.
No, okay, throws you right in. Talk to us a little about CDEs. What are you working on this year in senior year?
Yeah, so in the fall, I did soil judging, Royal, and I had a lot of fun with that. And then towards the winter time, I did job interview.
Okay.
And I did okay with that. And then this spring, I have done Ag Power Diagnostics, and our team placed, and we're going to state next week,
wow.
which is really exciting.
Congratulations.
And I've done public speaking, extemporaneous. I had a lot of fun doing that. I think I got 5th place. And I am doing dairy judging right now.
Okay, so that is quite a full slate throughout. So, I have to ask about Ag Power Diagnostics. I don't think anybody has mentioned that all week long, that anybody's competed in that CDE in particular. What does that mean, Ag Power Diagnostics?
So essentially, there is a piece of equipment, and they do what is called bugging it, which is just they make a problem with it, and you have to diagnose it and fix it.
Okay. So it's troubleshooting.
Yes.
All right. How does that work as a competition? They set you up at like different stations. How many different areas do you have to move through? How many different problems to find?
So I believe our team this year, there was about 6 stations at our district competition, and Landon Huber and Wyatt Woofer did it this year at the actual competition, and it is held at Ag Pro in Wilmington.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of it, or all of it, was John Deere. But I think there's around 6 stations, and I think they had a lot of fun. You have about 20 minutes per station. They give you a situation that you have to work through, and you have to kind of talk to the judge and figure out what's wrong.
Okay, and solve the problem.
Yeah.
All right. They don't expect you to fix it within 20 minutes, do they?
Mm-hmm.
They do. Okay, wow. That's pretty quick turnaround.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we're going to meet Josie. Good morning, Josie.
Good morning.
Tell us a little about yourself, if you would.
My name's Josie Pfeiffer, and I am the reporter for the FFA.
Okay, so explain to us, difference between reporter and secretary. You're both kind of in the same vein, doing a little different job.
So the secretary takes notes and is in charge of getting like the guests and stuff for meetings and activities and stuff. And then reporter, I'm in charge of taking pictures, and I made a scrapbook this year. So
That's interesting. So a scrapbook like for the entire FFA chapter, does that get graded in any sort of way, or is that more for like memory's sake?
Yes, it goes to the state, and we get rated on it.
Oh,
So like
cool.
it's the same as the secretary and treasurer books.
Fantastic. So it does like take time and effort and energy. You've got to
Yes.
really make sure that looks nice.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Tell us a little about your CDE this year. What do you get involved in?
So all 3 years I've been in FFA, I've done general livestock.
Okay.
So we're getting into that this spring, and it's basically we go into the contest and they have a bunch of different livestock animals, and we judge them based on their appearance and muscle, like you would as at a fair for showing and stuff. So yeah.
Okay. So within that, you have 4 different species. You have cattle, hogs, sheep, and goats. Is there one that you're like particularly good at that you can judge like the most quick?
So I'm pretty good at sheep and hogs because that's what I've shown, and it's just what I've learned to depict and stuff.
Okay. Now, I would have to imagine that goats aren't that much more difficult. They're not really all that different from sheep.
See, they shouldn't be, but like I'm really bad at judging goats.
What makes it more difficult?
I don't know. Like it's a big struggle for me.
Big struggle. So you've done this now, you said 3 years.
Yes.
Has this been an ongoing battle with the
Yes.
goats? It has.
Yes.
Okay. Well, maybe this is your year. You'll have all the problems
Hopefully.
sorted out. You'll have it figured.
Yes.
What for you, you said you show both sheep and hogs. Do you have a favorite species to judge?
Probably sheep.
Sheep.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, you have struggles with goats. I won't ask you to explain it, but for sheep, why do you like them so much, and why are they so easy for you to judge?
I just have a really easy time like looking at them. So basically, you look at them almost all the same. They have muscle in the same places. You want the same thing in each animal. It's just a little different based on their size and build. But sheep is just very like I can just look at it and be like, it needs this or it has this, and yeah, it's very like easy for me.
Okay. Now with that, you get like 15 minutes to look at a given species, those 4 animals, something like that?
Yeah.
How quickly can you tell? I know this one is number 1 all the way down through 4, or is it easier for you to start number 4 and work your way up?
So it really depends on the class. If they look mostly like, if they all look similar to each other, it takes me a little bit more time because you got to really look into like those little things like their feet and stuff. And it takes me a little bit more time if they're very similar. If there's a big difference in them, then it takes me a little less just because, I can tell like just by the bigger things, what like just their back and loin and stuff, and just what looks better on them. And
so usually easier, it sounds like, to pick first and worst, and then
Yes.
2 and 3 are kind of like, all right. Well, thank you very much, Josie. Let's hear from Maya. Good morning, Maya.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Tell us a little about yourself, if you would.
Yeah, so my name is Maya Murphy, and I am the FFA treasurer. Okay.
Murphy is a pretty long-standing name at Fayetteville, right? I'm pretty sure there's been a Murphy up there always. Tell us about some of your CDEs. What have you taken part in through the years?
Yeah, so I've done the urban soil judging for this is my 2nd year, I believe. And then I do job interview and portrait judging.
Okay. Now, Gracie said she did rural soil judging. You say urban soil judging. So there's 2 different classifications there.
Yes.
What's the difference between the 2?
Yeah, so you're judging the soil based on different things. So for urban, you look more for like buildings and like sewage plants and that kind of stuff. And then rural is for more farmland. Okay,
so within urban, you're kind of looking more towards what structures can be built upon a given area, whereas rural, you might be looking more for drainage or what's going to work better for crops.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I doubt I'll ever completely understand, but I guess I've at least got the basics. So soil judging urban, how long, like take us through that process. Do they dig a pit and you have to go in and what, look at what the soil's made up of?
Yeah, so you look at like the different soil like layers,
Okay.
and like how deep they are, and then you like see like how the soil is like made up, and if it's very like platey or like grainy.
Okay. And what's good soil, I guess, is what I'm asking. What do you really want there to be for it to be, good?
Yeah, you want it to be darker because that shows there's more like nutrients in the soil.
Okay.
And then you want it to not be very platey because that's hard for like if you're doing rural, that's very hard for the plants to grow.
Sure.
And you don't want it to be too like grainy like sand because that wouldn't hold buildings up very well.
Okay, very interesting. So you're having to use all the senses then. You're taking, look at the colors, look at the composition, feel it, I would assume.
Yes,
You don't have to like smell or taste the dirt or anything, right?
No.
No, okay, good. We'll stop at feeling and looking. Next up, we're going to meet Caden. Caden on the far end there. Caden, good morning.
Good morning.
Tell us a little about yourself.
I'm Caden Vilvins, and I'm the student advisor for our FFA chapter.
Okay, what does student advisor mean?
Yeah, so student advisor, I just advise over all the other students as being one of the older people. If they need any questions or need anything answered, they can come to me and ask me for advice.
Awesome. What grade are you in?
I'm 12th grade.
You're a senior now. All right. So we kind of, again, started by talking about those 4 years of FFA. You started as a freshman?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So can you remember back, like, I don't know, the nervousness when you start a given CDE or an SAE of not, you're just kind of thrown into it. And now being on the senior end of that, what's it like to be kind of that older person and be there for those that are a little nervous about it?
Yeah, my brother was in the FFA, so growing up, I was kind of involved with that.
Sure.
And, I always wanted to be an FFA, so I wasn't too nervous to join FFA. But just seeing now some of the other people, just trying to persuade them to join FFA.
Yeah.
Just trying to help them out as best as we can because everyone's always nervous. They come from that middle school to high school, and you don't hardly know no one because they're all older than you, and you're kind of scared being the underclassman. Just being an upperclassman and just paving the way for them and helping them whatever they need help with is nice.
That's awesome. Well, here's your opportunity for a sales pitch, right? You say that kids need to get involved with FFA. What would you say is the biggest, I don't know, life change or eye-opening experience you've had through your FFA chapter?
It's just meeting all them new people. I went to another school my freshman year. I went to Lynchburg, and I transferred to Fayetteville my sophomore year. Just that kind of like that family camaraderie and just getting to meet new people and just being out there in the world because being an FFA, you talk to so many people and you get to meet so many new faces. It's very eye-opening. It's pretty fun, all these classes and being with your buddies all the time.
Sure.
And it's a very comfortable setting. It's not very forced like a regular classroom. You actually are hands-on and get to learn stuff.
Well, and I think you guys within FFA at Fayetteville, it is, yes, like one period out of your class day, but FFA is one of those extracurriculars where you're spending a ton of time outside of the classroom with your fellow FFA chapter members. So those friendships that you talked about, those get built up even more so because you're spending so much outside time with them.
Yes, it does.
Now, take us through your CDEs. What are some of the things you've competed in?
So like them, I do rural ag, soil, and we placed at state this year. Or we went to state this year. Me and a couple other buddies, we made it to state. And then I've done ag sales in my past. I did that 1 year, and I placed third in the district my first year. And then I do livestock judging.
Awesome. So we heard a little about soil judging already. Is there a difference from doing, your local or regional district competition versus going to state, or is it just the same competition kind of on a more competitive level?
Yeah, it's about the same competition. Just the big thing is you're such a big different region. So we did our ag soils, our district around here. Mm-hmm. So you have a lot different soil, a lot different hills, and then we went up more towards outside of Columbus. So you just have all that different perspectives. But yeah, it is about the same. You just have a lot of other people on a higher scale.
Sure. Now, you guys in Fayetteville, you're kind of in that northern part of the very northern part of Brown County. So you're starting to see where the land flattens out quite a bit. But southern Brown County, you've got all the hills and the valleys. Now, I assume you guys compete against some of the other Adams and Brown County schools around. Is there a difference? Has there been a big difference for you of note in the farmland that you guys have near Fayetteville versus the farmland that we'll say around Ripley?
A little bit. I feel like there's probably a little bit more erosion around where we're from because it's so flat. Here you have all the rolling hills and more natural levees for water to flow down through. But it's mostly about the same. It depends, honestly, where you're at.
Sure.
But both the soils look about the same.
Okay, so it's not like you're having to study two whole different realms to understand what you're looking at then.
No.
Okay, good. Next up, thank you very much, Caden. We're going to meet Warren. Warren, good morning.
Good morning.
Tell us a little about yourself.
My name's Warren Murphy. I'm the chapter president this year.
Okay, chapter president, in charge of everybody.
Yep.
Yeah. We won't dance around it. You're the manager. What I guess what responsibilities does a chapter president have within the FFA that some people might not expect? Versus, obviously you run the meetings, you kind of keep everybody on the same page.
Yeah, running the meetings, keeping everybody on the same page. Just trying to make sure that everything gets done that we need to get done. Keeping everybody or making sure everybody's in line, getting their stuff done that they need to get done. I talk to Burke a lot, making sure that we get everything done. Going through, at the beginning of the year, we all sit down and go through a big meeting to plan out the year and make sure we get all the activities done that we need to do.
Fantastic. So it is a big responsibility. How many members do you guys have in your chapter?
Just shy of 100.
Just shy of 100. So 9th through 12th grade, right about 100. And that honestly, that's a lot. Is that, I don't know, daunting to you at all that you try to keep everybody's schedules or like what everybody's working on kind of in the back of your mind?
It's not too bad. I feel kind of better because some other schools have well more than that.
Sure.
So, but it ain't too bad.
Okay. Well, we'll just assume that you've got a level head or something because that kind of scares me. Take us through some of your CDEs. What do you compete in?
So started out the year doing soil judging. It was my 4th year doing it. I was with Caden on the state team.
Awesome.
And then I did ag sales for 2 years before. We didn't end up having a team this year. And then I do poultry judging.
Okay. So 4 years in, talk to us a little about why that experience matters so much in any given CDE. If you started in your freshman year judging soil, just how much that knowledge builds up over that 4 years of education and experience.
Yeah, they're really, really different the first time you go. I remember the first time we went to soils, I'm like, wow, this is strange. So there's no talking the whole contest, so you just gotta keep all your thoughts in your head. And
really?
Like they said,
like
you
dead
go into
silent?
Yeah, it's
Wow.
borderline dead silent the whole time. So you go down in the pit, do your stuff, and then there's a written test you got to do.
Sure.
But it just, over the 4 years, you learn what you have to do, what you need to improve on, and it just becomes second nature to it.
Okay.
And poultry judging, we ended up placing 8th at state last year. So we ended up going to the state finals.
That's awesome.
So,
Well, since we haven't talked about poultry judging, we kind of heard the large animal side of taking a look and trying to, determine a class out. How does that work with poultry?
so you got live birds, and you have 4 live birds that you'll judge basically like your large animals.
Okay.
You'll place them 1 through 4 based on size of the breast. You can't touch them, which sucks, but you can still visually kind of tell which one is the better one. And then you do carcasses. You'll have 10 ready to cook carcasses
Okay.
that you'll have to place according to different things that are wrong with them.
Okay.
And then you'll do bone-in and boneless cuts of meat. So boneless, you'll do like chicken nuggets, chicken patties, tenderloins. And then bone-in, you'll do your chicken wings, drumettes, drumsticks, thighs, that sort of thing.
That's really interesting because for the large livestock, there's a whole separate competition wherein you're looking at the finished product versus your livestock judging where you're looking at a live animal. But for poultry, you kind of have a mix of all of that, start to finish.
Yep, they throw it all together, and then they also do eggs too. So you got the whole set.
Yeah. Man, that's crazy. So within that, do you have a favorite area of focus on that? Do you prefer the live birds, the carcass, the finished product? Where do you excel?
Live birds are usually really easy because there's 4, and usually you can tell pretty well which one's the best. The carcasses are good, but I'd say probably the exterior eggs and the boneless are probably my favorite.
Okay, so once it's basically the least parameters you have to go with, the harder it is to pick.
Yeah.
Okay, good deal. Well, thank you very much, Warren. Last up to meet, we have Isaac. Good morning.
Good morning.
Tell us a little about yourself.
My name is Isaac Gotti, and I am the Sentinel for the Fayetteville FFA chapter.
Okay, so Sentinel, I understand president, news reporter, secretary, even a student advisor was pretty straightforward, making sure that the kids are being advised. What does Sentinel mean?
Okay, so I am what that FFA says, stationed by the door. So I greet people coming in, and then just help out really the president and anybody else who needs help out, kind of what the student advisor does.
Okay, so you're that first point of contact then.
Yeah, pretty much.
I got you. Tell us about your CDEs. What do you compete in?
So Royal Soil Judging, which I placed good at districts, but I was not able to go to state contest. But and then poultry judging and ag sales.
Okay, so we've talked a little about soil. We've talked about the poultry judging. Ag sales, what exactly does that entail?
Okay, so ag sales, we get a couple months before we get a pamphlet of what we're supposed to sell. So the first year was John Deere lawnmowers, and it was like 5 different lawnmowers, and they all had a different price and different options to choose. So you go for the contest, you try to memorize as much as you can, get a deals, how you can get it best, like a salesperson, and then you go through and the contest, you have a written, so you have a interview, kind of like what we're doing right now, and you try to sell lawnmowers as many as you can, as much profit you want to do as good as you can. So really sell it as like a salesperson. You want to get it sold.
Okay, so you're just moving product at that point. I got you. Guys, as we're kind of running out of time here, just want to take an opportunity real quick. Warren, we'll swing back to you since you serve as the president. Talk to us a little about your FFA experience and what it has meant to you. Obviously, you've done this for 4 years now. Biggest thing that you've learned about yourself, biggest skill set that you're going to take from the FFA?
Yeah, it's been a journey. CDs have definitely helped me the most. I've learned a lot over them. I'm currently an intern for a seed company right now, so ag sales has helped a ton with just getting through the sales process. And then I've showed chickens my whole life, and then I feel like poultry judging has helped me as far as at fair showing chickens. It's helped me judge, like when I'm picking my birds, judge the best. Yeah. And my mom was an ag teacher, so going in, I kind of knew a lot of the stuff that was. I kind of knew a lot of the stuff that was going to happen and what I was going to do. But it's been a fun time.
That's awesome. Ladies, want to give another opportunity, and Gracie, will start up here with you. Just Warren talked about some of the agricultural-based skill sets. Let's talk a little about some of those skill sets that, regardless of whether you're going into an ag industry after high school. Talking speech and running a meeting and getting, being able to be in front of people. Talk about those skill sets you've developed through FFA.
Yeah, so I've learned a lot about things like job interview and public speaking, because those are both CDEs that I have participated in for all 4 years of my high school. And it's taught me a lot about how to talk to people. I know now how to do a proper interview and the steps and process through that. I've got a good handshake. Worked on that a lot.
And there's an art to that.
Yeah. And I've just really learned how to carry myself a lot better. I'd say when I was in middle school, I was definitely a lot quieter than I am now. But because of public speaking, I can really say what I want to say without using too many of those filler words and sounding like I don't really know what I'm talking about.
Sure.
So I've definitely learned a lot of just basic skills that don't even have anything to do with agriculture, just through FFA.
That's awesome. Josie, for you, best, most fun part of FFA, because let's face it, it's a ton of work. It takes hours upon hours upon hours to be good at these competitions that we've talked about, your SAEs, working on a project for a long term. But there is a lot of fun to be had in it. What would you say is the best part?
Yes, I think just spending time with your officer team and doing things outside, hands-on, it teaches you a lot, and it really prepares you for like the real world. It gives you a good look on things like for future careers and stuff like that. But just spending time with your officer team and getting to know them and just your chapter in general, it's really fun.
Yeah.
So
those friendships, right? It's
Yes.
just lasting connections. Maya, we'll close with you. We talked a little bit with Caden about the importance in his life and getting to be kind of that role model now as he's in his senior year. For you, talk about why kids should get that agricultural education through FFA and why that's so important.
Yeah, so I think agricultural education is very important, especially like so people know where their food comes from. That's a big thing because like people just think that it just is out the store. They don't know how it gets there. So I think it's really good that people get to see like how their food's made, what goes into it, and all like the really hardworking farmers that work hard to put food on the table.
Absolutely. Like Warren pointed out that, he's talking about chicken nuggets and chicken breasts and eggs. Those don't just show up at the store, right? It takes a lot of hard work to get them there.
Yeah, lots of hard work.
All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for sitting down and talking with us. You did wonderful. Hopefully all the nerves are gone and everyone, you do this again?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Well, we'll have you back then. With that, guys, we're going to do a quick reset. We'll have Georgetown FFA joining us next as we continue our FFA Week celebration. Again, thank you to our sponsors, including Southern Ohio Medical Center, National Bank of Adams County, Community Fuels and Lubricants, Mefford's Heating and Cooling, Midwest Air, Huntley Napa Auto Supply, and Carrington Farm Supply. Stay tuned. We're back right after this here on C103 and Good Guys Radio TV, presented by CMT Components. If this summer brings scorching temperatures and drought conditions, Armstrong Crop Insurance, your local hometown agency, can come to the rescue. They're here to protect your crops from excessive heat, rainfall, wildlife destruction, hail, and even uncertain prices. They have 3 full-time agents who live and farm in your community. The deadline to apply for crop insurance is March 17th. Don't stress all summer long. Call Armstrong Crop Insurance today at 937-378-4430 for a quote, or stop by their office at 501 East State Street in Georgetown. Armstrong Crop Insurance, where the agent is the advantage. Equal opportunity provider. Get ready for the stars to align.
Turnaround jumper, Vince buries it!
The 41st annual C103 Shack Senior All-Star Game is coming Saturday, March 28th to North Adams High School.
McLaughlin for a short jumper, it's good.
Featuring girls and boys All-Star games and the All-Star cheerleaders.
Feldhouse, the big guy, drives the left side of the lane, puts it up and in.
Plus, we'll award thousands of dollars in scholarships to our local student athletes.
Left side, but it's stuck back by Hayslip up and in.
Mark your calendars now. We'll see you there.
Your plan is ready. It's time to build. At CMT Components, we design and manufacture quality building materials for your custom job. If you need metal panels and trim, trusses, or even a complete pole barn package, we do it all, including delivering right to your job site. To get started, call us at 937-446-3400. You can also check us out online or stop by our office in Sardinia, Ohio to discuss your plans today. Let's get building.
What's one of our shows that our listeners love the most?
Yeah, I got a couple things here to sell today.
That's right. It's the Trash and Treasure Trading Post on C103, weekdays starting at 12:30 p.m.
Oh, yes, I'm a private collector.
Get your items on the air by calling 937-544-9722. You can also try out the mailbag items. It's $2 a day, $5 for 3 days. Mail your listings to P.O. Box 103, West Union, Ohio, 45693.
Got a lot of other miscellaneous, too.
And we'll help you turn your trash into treasure.
While college tuition continues to skyrocket, skilled trades offer a pathway to a successful career without a heavy financial burden. At the Ohio Valley Career and Technical Center, we are pioneering pathways to your success by providing hands-on vocational training in high-demand programs where students can gain real-world skills and still enjoy all the benefits of going to school, like playing sports and pursuing college classes. Enrollment is based on program availability, so you don't have to live in Adams County to attend. Speak to your guidance counselors to see how the Ohio Valley CTC can help you create a better tomorrow.
C103, 99.5 The Edge, and Good Guys Radio TV are your source for everything local. From Shack basketball
Shot by Osborne, Party on the buzzer! Wow.
to Shack baseball,
Wells is going to drive. He makes it. He's safe.
Western Brown football,
Throws it towards the end zone, and it's complete.
to Shack volleyball,
Hatton for the kill. It's good.
local fairs, festivals, and more.
To the finish line.
Crosses the line to get the victory.
Never miss a moment with C103, 99.5 The Edge, and Good Guys Radio TV. If this summer brings scorching temperatures and drought conditions, Armstrong Crop Insurance, your local hometown agency, can come to the rescue. They're here to protect your crops from excessive heat, rainfall, wildlife destruction, hail, and even uncertain prices. They have 3 full-time agents who live and farm in your community. The deadline to apply for crop insurance is March 17th. Don't stress all summer long. Call Armstrong Crop Insurance today at 937-378-4430 for a quote, or stop by their office at 501 East State Street in Georgetown. Armstrong Crop Insurance, where the agent is the advantage. Equal opportunity provider. Get ready for the stars to align.
Turnaround jumper, Vince buries it!
The 41st annual C103 Shack Senior All-Star Game is coming Saturday, March 28th to North Adams High School.
McLaughlin for a short jumper, it's good.
Featuring girls and boys All-Star games and the All-Star cheerleaders.
Feldhouse, the big guy, drives the left side of the lane, puts it up and in.
Plus, we'll award thousands of dollars in scholarships to our local student athletes.
Left side, but it's stuck back by Hayslip up and in.
Mark your calendars now. We'll see you there.
Your plan is ready. It's time to build. At CMT Components, we design and manufacture quality building materials for your custom job. If you need metal panels and trim, trusses, or even a complete pole barn package, we do it all, including delivering right to your job site. To get started, call us at 937-446-3400. You can also check us out online or stop by our office in Sardinia, Ohio to discuss your plans today. Let's get building.
Welcome back into our FFA Week celebration here on C103 and Good Guys Radio TV. Again, thanks for joining us. As we had Fayetteville in our last segment, we're going to switch over to the Georgetown FFA chapter here with us. First, a big thank you to our sponsors, including Armstrong Crop Insurance, our presenting sponsor this week, along with Adams, Brown, and Highland County Farm Bureaus, Baxley Tractor Sales, Buckeye Valley Beef Cooperative, Georgetown Marble and Granite, and Southern Ohio Medical Center. Guys, good morning. How's everybody doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing
I'm very well. Thank you for asking. Yeah, nobody ever asks back. You just say good and go. Let's talk a little about Georgetown FFA. Since you were brave enough to sit closest to me, Ariana, you get to start us off. Tell us a little about yourself. What officer do you serve as in your chapter?
I'm the reporter.
Okay.
One of the reporters.
One of the reporters.
Yeah.
So you guys have a lot going on. You need 2 reporters?
Yeah.
Yes, you do. All
Yeah.
right. What does a reporter do within an FFA chapter?
Well, the reporter informs the people about FFA, so I make posts on Instagram, Facebook, and then we also have a TikTok account too.
Okay.
Yeah.
What does an FFA TikTok account look like?
Well, it's more just as the fun, so it's really more silly than for fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have Jamie doing TikTok dances or?
No.
No.
I think he would
Loudon stays out.
shut us down right away if we ask.
So Loudon won't do TikTok dances. We at least know that. But I think that's really interesting because that role, probably more than any other within FFA, has changed the most over the years. So a reporter back in the day would have written up articles for the newspaper or something like that. Now you're 21st century, hitting up the socials. For you, is that a good thing or a bad thing to be even more connected, be even more visible, and kind of have to have that expectation that you're putting stuff out there?
I think it's a good thing because a lot of people are on social media, so
yeah.
I think it's a good thing.
Let's talk about it from an educating the public aspect. How much are you guys doing to again, kind of not just show off what you're doing within the chapter, but also educate people a little more about what FFA is? Would you say the public kind of generally understands what you guys do as an FFA chapter?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I would hope so.
You hope so?
Yeah.
I'm sure you're doing good. Tell us a little about your CDEs. What kind of things do you compete in?
I usually do livestock judging.
You just compete in livestock judging. Well, we've heard that seems to be the big team for every FFA chapter, that everyone kind of competes in that. Why specifically FFA judging and obviously the livestock judging, I'm sorry. Why have you focused on that specifically? What drew you into it? You say you just compete in that. Why has that been your main focus?
Well, that's like the main one, like you said. Like it's a lot of our members will do livestock judging because personally for me, public speaking, that would be a little difficult for me. And I feel a lot more comfortable judging animals than I would like talking in front of people that would judge me.
Okay. Well, I mean, within livestock judging, there is still that component of it, right? You go in, you're going to look at your 4 different animals and 4 different species and list them out. But you do have to explain, like, to your judges why you placed them. So is that hard for you? Or, like, is the actual judging part easy and then the explanation is more difficult?
Yeah, okay. I would say.
All right. You're very verbose. So you work on it, right?
Yeah.
You get there. Which of the species is easiest for you?
I would probably say lambs.
Lambs.
Yeah.
Why so?
Well, I show lambs, so I think I know like more of what I'm looking at than other species of them.
All right. So because you've spent a lot of time around, you kind of have an expectation. Is it hard to, like, obviously when you're talking about you show them, there are a little bit of differences for like a show lamb versus something that you're going to actually send to market. Is it hard to kind of override that in your mind of like, I know what's going to do well if I'm showing it at the Brown County Fair versus, you know, what's going to do well at market?
Yeah, sometimes it's kind of hard to like separate the two because it is different. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thank you very much for starting us off, Ariana. You did really, really well. So that's good. We'll come back to you. We're going to talk a little more. Lila, let's hear a little about yourself. What grade you in? What you serve as within your chapter?
I'm a junior and I'm our second reporter. So I also inform the people about what we're doing in our chapter and basically just what FFA is up to and what it's all about.
All right. So it's your job to convince Loudon to do the TikTok dance.
That is definitely my job. We're still working on it, but we're going to get him there one day.
All right. Well, I can't wait to see that. Tell us a little about CDEs. What are you competing in?
I also really only compete in livestock judging, but I would love to branch out more in this CDE season and next year for my senior year.
For sure. So we heard a little from Ariana, kind of the difficulties of the livestock judging realm. When you go in, you have like 15 minutes or so, is that right?
Something.
For each species?
I think so, around that.
Okay. Within that 15 minutes for you, how quickly can you tell, like, I know which one is the best in this class, or I know which one's the worst in this class, and how do you work from that?
It really depends on the animal. Like, for me, I find cattle the easiest to judge just because I've grown up around cattle, and my cousin Tavon, our president, has shown cattle all of his life. So I think it's easier to distinguish, like, what you're looking for in cattle rather than any other animal.
Okay. Well, we heard cattle then easiest for you. What would you say is the most difficult?
Oh, goodness. She thinks lambs are the easiest. I don't like judging lambs.
No? Well, I should preface by saying you guys don't get to touch the animals. It is purely a sight thing. Do you think that makes it that much harder on you with lambs, especially if they have wool? That becomes all that more difficult to see the muscle mass?
Yeah, and for the competitions that I've been to, like, nobody's showing the animal, like nobody's placing the animal, so like you really are just like thrown in with what you got. Like nobody is like trying to show off their muscle for you. You're just examining them based off how they naturally act.
That's really interesting. So for most folks, the biggest thing where they've seen animals getting judged would be going to the fair and, you know, watching a livestock show wherein every animal has someone leading it in, trying to show off the very best they can those animals' attributes. That is really interesting. So first, how do you even keep the animals straight as to like which one's which to kind of make your notes?
Yeah, that's really challenging. You really, personally, I just look at the patterns on the animals and see like, or the muscle mass or like which one, the size comparison of each of them.
Okay, so if you have two hogs that look pretty much the same, those might get flip-flopped then.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because the hogs are the worst. They move the most.
Oh yeah.
All right, so that's tough on its own. placing them, is it easiest to know which one's the best, which one's the worst, or is the, like, your 2 and 3, are those the most difficult for you to determine?
Oh yeah, they're usually pretty close. It's like one factor on each of them that could probably determine if they're in second or third place.
Okay. 15 minutes is not a lot of time.
No, it is not.
No, Ariana, she said that the judging aspect is easy. It's when you have to go in and, like, explain why you judge them in a certain way. Would you agree to that that's the more difficult part of it?
Oh yeah, I totally agree with that. I think that's the hardest part of it.
All right. So arguing is always difficult.
Yes.
All right. Next up, we're going to meet Ross. Good morning, Ross.
Morning.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Very well, sir. Thank you. Tell us a little about yourself.
I'm a sophomore, and I'm the sentinel of our chapter.
Okay. Now, I just learned, because I hadn't asked all week so far, the sentinel, you're like that first point of contact for your members when you're coming in, correct?
Yeah.
So tell us a little about the importance of that. If I don't know, when you guys come into a meeting, you're kind of that touch point for getting everybody on the same page, getting everybody ready.
Yeah, I usually try to have everything set up before the meeting starts in our room that we have it in, and have all the we have little books at each of our officer stations. Have that ready.
Sure.
And
got to be organized.
Yeah.
Is that a tough thing for you, or are you usually pretty organized?
I'm usually pretty organized with stuff like that.
Okay. So taking care of it, get it on lock. Moving on to CDEs, what are some of the things you compete in?
I just do livestock judging.
You guys keep saying I just do livestock judging. Like that's that is what a lot of FFA chapters, that's like the big focus, the big push. Do you agree to that like livestock judging is kind of the big thing everybody's involved in, the most competitive?
Yeah, that was my thing I really wanted to do freshman year when I started FFA.
Sure. So you've done it all 3 years now up to this, or I'm sorry, you said you're a sophomore, so you've done it both years now?
Yeah.
Talk about the growth in your skill set from last year as a freshman, getting thrown into it for the first time, maybe first time you've ever had the opportunity or had the expectation, to this year, kind of understanding more so how the competition works.
Yeah, I'd say I'd be a lot more prepared for our first one this year than I was for the first one last year.
Sure. Hard to replace that experience, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go back last year. We always say it's a livestock judging team, and it is to a certain point, but it is more of an individual pursuit than I think it sounds like. How much can you lean on your teammates going into a competition, though, to kind of, roll your ideas off of them and be prepared?
We usually can't talk to each other much or really at all in the competitions, but yeah, it's always fun going with the team way up or on the way there, way back. And yeah.
So with that, if you can't talk in the moment, do you guys do a lot of compare and contrast? You're taking notes and talking to each other on the back end, and then where did you judge that class of hogs? And do you normally agree with your teammates, like your 1 through 4, or have you had any arguments over who was right and who was wrong?
Usually similar markings on them. We usually, like you said, compare way home from them, or when we're allowed to talk to each other.
So you've never proven anybody wrong then? Not yet?
No, not yet.
It'll come. You'll get there. So you'll be able to say I told you so at some point in your career. So we'll circle back, because Ariana's over here nodding her head as if Brandon, we'll swing back then. I'm sorry, I'm not going to pick on you. Kind of piggybacking off of that, on the tail end, is it? I don't know. Is that something you guys regularly do? Is have that conversation afterwards of, here's where I place the class, and do you usually agree with your teammates?
No.
No.
Usually, for who I'm talking to on the best way back, because they're me and Lila usually will talk about what we got, and we'll be completely different.
Okay.
So we might have the last one or the first one, but our middles are always switched up.
So who amongst you, if you guys are comparing notes with each other, who amongst you is normally the more correct one more frequently?
It's definitely Ariana.
Okay, so see, you know what you're doing. You're on it. It feels pretty good though, right? That you placed them at least the correct way on the given day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of them, but Lila, she'll do better at other animals than I would do better. So. Yeah.
And that's why you compare and contrast. So you're going to learn from each other. It's good. Let's swing up, and we're going to talk with Evan. Evan, tell us a little about yourself.
I'm a senior at Georgetown, and I'm the treasurer.
treasurer. You guys bringing in a lot of money with FFA.
Yeah, especially because we got that big fruit sale.
Right.
So takes a lot of counting and organization to get all that together.
Absolutely. So. Well, and it's interesting. We've talked to like 10 different chapters now. You guys are our last one, and nobody has mentioned fruit sales, something that I know is a big part of most people's FFA experience, having, kind of the we'll say the sales side of agriculture, that finished product. From your standpoint, obviously you've done it for a while. Why would you say that doing the fruit sales or doing the fundraisers and having that side of it is important to your FFA experience?
Well, not only does it benefit our chapter, it benefits the people that are selling because they actually have to go out and talk to people and sell. And then it also helps them be responsible to deliver the fruit. And the community usually looks forward to the fruit sale too, so everybody knows about it.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty good thing.
I 100% agree. That is, again, kind of combining a lot of those skill sets that, might not be going in and judging a class of animals, but it's a lot of those skill sets that are kind of secondary in FFA. Being able to talk, being able to kind of, say what you mean and mean what you say. Now, would you say you excelled at being a salesperson, fruit sales and beyond?
Yeah, the past 3 or 4 years, so I've done pretty good. A few years ago, I was the second or third top seller. So
okay, so just talking to people comes naturally then.
Yes.
Okay, take us through some of your CDEs. What are you competing in?
The first few years, I competed in the livestock judging, like everybody was saying.
Sure.
And last year, I tried something new. I did public speaking. I did the extemporaneous speech.
Okay.
And that was a lot different. That was
for anybody that's been around FFA, that's usually the one that seems the most daunting, the most scary. Explain for folks who don't understand the extemporaneous speech contest and how exactly that works. Like, take us through that process.
So you get about 25 minutes to 30 minutes, and you pick a topic out of a hat, and you get that time to prepare your speech. And they'll give you some note cards, but you do some research, and then you go into a room, and I believe it's 2.5 to 4 minute speech you have to deliver. And so you got your judges, and then they judge you, obviously, on your speaking and your body language and how prepared you are. So
now, the scary part is kind of going in not knowing exactly what topic you're going to speak on, but within that, like, you do at least have some parameters on kind of the subject area you're going to talk about, right?
Yeah.
So you're not going in completely blind. But would you say the hardest part is putting the notes together or actually delivering the speech?
Definitely delivering the speech.
Delivery, okay.
I say you can prepare, which it seemed like a lot, like whenever I first went into it, but after I was preparing, it was a shorter time than I realized.
Yeah.
Which the hardest part was definitely giving it, delivering it. So.
By that, do you mean making it at least 2.5 minutes long, or trying to keep it under that 4 minutes? Which is harder?
Well, that was my first time, so I was a little nervous, and it was making it 2.5 minutes. That was the harder part for me.
Flying through those notes real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Would you do it again, or are you doing it again?
I would have done it again, but I had some other things, and I let one of the younger classmen do it. So, yeah. But Jamie wanted me to do it again, but I didn't do it this year. So.
It wasn't for fear, though.
No.
You got through it. That's good. That's good. Next up, and our last introductory here, we have Everett. Good morning.
Morning.
Tell us a little about yourself.
So I'm a sophomore this year at Georgetown. I'm the student advisor of our chapter.
Okay, so student advisor. It's kind of your job to be maybe the kind of boots on the ground, kind of speaking with everybody, making sure everybody's doing what they need to do and getting things done. For you said you're a sophomore?
Yes, sir.
Take us through that freshman experience, and I don't know, how much more prepared you felt for FFA this year versus last year, your first time going through it?
Well, last year we kind of just, you just start, you get thrown into it. There's a lot of things that you want to try and do, but this year it's definitely a lot better going through it. Now that you've done it, it becomes easier.
Having that freshman experience, do you think that makes you better as that, person that's trying to help out the younger classmen?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Get everybody on the same page? Yeah. Talk to us a little about some of the CDEs, things that you take part in, compete in.
So like the rest of them, I've done livestock judging.
You guys are a livestock judging team kind of FFA chapter. That's good.
But I'd like to get in. They have an animal science test that I'd like to do.
So what would be the difference there from livestock judging to animal science? What's the focus?
Well, livestock judging, you go in person, but the animal science test, it's a test and it's online. So I'd be in a room probably by myself.
Still kind of similar parameters you're looking at, like livestock then in that case?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, then let's circle back to livestock, because we've heard everybody talk about they have their challenges, they have their successes. Is there a particular species that's easier for you when you go in, you can kind of pick pretty quickly?
I know earlier you said that hogs were the worst because they move too much.
Hogs are the worst.
I find them the easiest because you can just see their muscle way better than the rest of them.
Yeah, I guess that's true. A lot less coverage in that case. But, we asked Lila, how do you keep them straight? Hogs, again, notoriously don't like sitting still for very long, especially if they're just, put into a wide open ring. How do you keep track of who's who, who's what notes you've made on which animals?
It is hard sometimes, but I just try to look for every detail I can, and whether they have certain markings like on their skin or if they've been marked with a marker or anything like that.
Okay, but they're not going in, and the judges aren't writing 1, 2, 3, and 4 on this for you guys to help keep track. It's on you to kind of put them in order. All right. Hogs are easiest. What's the hardest for you?
Probably cattle.
Cattle. All right.
I grew up around them a little bit, but they're still probably the hardest for me.
Interesting. So, again, kind of going back to like preconceived biases, what maybe on the family farm you guys look for versus what you think a judge might be looking for. That's hard to kind of differ out.
Yeah, I feel like the way we have them, we raise them and breed them, so we try to look for good qualities like that, but a lot of times they look for market qualities.
So that actually brings a great question. What are you looking for in breeding for cattle versus what you might be looking for market? How does that differ?
Well, I feel like for breeding, you try to look for better structure. I mean, you want good structure in both classes, but for market, you kind of look at muscle and how much meat you could get off of it. When for breeding, you kind of look for whether they got good mothering qualities if it's a female, or for a male if they're calm and level-headed.
Gotcha. So some of the similar things, but also more temperament when you're dealing with the breeding side.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question. This is kind of a general question. How many of you guys have grown up on a farm or around a farm in some way, shape, or form? Okay. All of you except for Ariana. Okay. So I again, trying not to pick on you. I'm sorry. But with that in mind, all of these guys grew up on a farm, grew up around animals. For you, being someone who didn't necessarily grow up on that farm, why go into the FFA? Like, I think a lot of people have that stigma that it stood for the Future Farmers of America once upon a time, and it's for farm kids. Why would you say that's not the case for you?
Well, even though I didn't really grow up near or really know anybody that really have a farm, when I was in middle school, I used to go to Eastern. It was a big thing there, so 7th grade me wanted to be a part of it because everybody else was, and I really like FFA, and I think that's why I still continue to be a part of it in high school.
Yeah, that's awesome. And again, those skill sets that you guys are learning go well beyond, going back to the family farm or being a farmer after high school. Lila, since, again, you kind of grew up with that experience, what would you say is the biggest thing you learned from joining FFA that maybe you didn't learn growing up on a farm?
I think FFA has taught me a lot of things. I think leadership, though, is a really big one, especially being on an officer team. You're leading the future of the Georgetown FFA chapter, and you have to set a good example, and it really just teaches you how to be a good leader and how to be a good example for underclassmen.
Yeah. Ross, kind of similar question, that farm experience, what was the biggest thing that, and not to throw, mom, dad, mama, papa, whoever you're growing up working on a farm with, what was the biggest thing that you did as a farm kid that, through your FFA experience, you've maybe expanded on that knowledge a little more and have brought back to the family farm to say, hey, we could try to do this way?
I think FFA just has a lot of good experiences that you can learn stuff from. I'm in our ag mechanics class, so it's neat what we do in there.
Sure.
Learn stuff.
So are you set and ready to go back and fix the family tractor if it breaks down? You feel confident in that, or?
I don't know about that extent, but
Okay. We'll still leave it to the professionals then at this point.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's swing back up and Everett. Again, we've kind of heard from everyone else about those maybe not so much agricultural based skill sets that you're picking up. Again, being a sophomore, kind of going through that experience, how much more confident are you now in this second year versus last year? Obviously, have the opportunity. You have to stand up in front of your FFA chapter. You have to stand up in front of judges at competitions. How much more confident do you feel this year after that year of experience going in?
A lot more confident.
Yeah. So, question then. We heard, extemporaneous speech competition. Is that something that you feel you could do? Is that, a possibility in the future?
I think I could do it, but it'd be difficult for sure.
All right. Well, you've said you think you can do it, so now Loudon has that information. He'll be able to push you into it. But last but not least, we're going to swing back to Evan. Evan, being a senior, 4 years into this, just talk to us a little about, again, kind of those intangible things that you've learned through FFA. You grew up on a farm. You grew up around animals. You've done all of these things. What are some of the skill sets that outside of animals, outside of livestock judging, outside of selling fruit and things like that you're going to carry on to that next phase in life, into college or the workforce and beyond? Like the biggest thing for you that stands out?
Probably I've had more opportunities to speak in front of people like my peers and even older people, and a bunch of different opportunities, and so that prepared me. So I'm able to speak more, better, and clearer.
Sure.
And just confidence, and you meet a lot more friends in FFA, and you learn a lot more. So I didn't really know a whole lot about animals because my grandpa was a crop farmer. So so I've learned a lot and met a lot of different people. So it's pretty good experience, and definitely learn a lot.
And I think as we've wrapped up, I've talked to a bunch of different chapters. That really at the core of it is what FFA is all about, is those connections. Obviously the skills are a great thing, but being able to make friends through the FFA, not just at your own chapter. You guys do, state convention, national convention, things like that. Getting to meet a lot of different people from a lot of different places is a really cool part of it. So last but not least, and we'll stick with you, Evan, why join FFA? For the kids out there that are kind of on the fence, that aren't like Ariana, and just like, it's a cool thing to do, so I'm definitely doing it. Why join FFA?
Well, it's pretty general, but it's a lot of fun and builds your character and builds you up as a better person, and allows you to try new things and just become a better student, and prepares you for life.
Fantastic. Well, guys, thank you very much for joining us. I really appreciate you sitting down to talk with us and for wrapping up our FFA week. I think it was a pretty good week, folks. Great cap off. If you missed out on this conversation or any of our other shows throughout the week, don't forget, you can check them out on demand, goodguysradiotv.com. Also, thank you again to our sponsors, the National Bank of Adams County, Community Fuels and Lubricants, Mefford's Heating and Cooling, Midwest Air, Huntley Napa Auto Supply, and Carrington Farm Supply, along with our title sponsor this week, Armstrong Crop Insurance, and of course, CMT Components, helping to bring this to you on Good Guys Radio TV. Big thank you to all the FFA chapters that have sat down and talked with us. It's going to wrap it up for today. Thanks for listening in here on C103 and Good Guys Radio TV.
Thank you for tuning in. Rewatch this video and many more on demand at goodguysradiotv.com.